Daniel Kiss and welcome to After Cafe, where the after chai thought finds up and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest exploring faith, courage, and creativity, inviting readers and viewers to see the extraordinary beauty hidden in ordinary moments. None other than Miss Ruth Douthitt.
Hi,
Welcome.
Daniel. Good to see you again.
Yes, good to see you again, Miss Ruth, and welcome on Abstract Asa. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Sure. I'm an author and artist out here in the desert Southwest, and I self publish my books, but I'm also a podcaster, and that helps me with growing my platform, which is very needed in the self publishing world. And I'm a wife and a mom, and just enjoying life out here.
Yes, enjoying life, people, because life is too short. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Ruth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And today let's talk about how to survive self publishing a book. So tell us, Miss Ruth, many people think self publishing is just about writing a book. What is the most significant mental or emotional shift you had to make to survive the entire process?
Well, you have to remember that as a self published author, you're also a marketer and a publicist. So you have to build a brand and you have to work really hard to gain the trust of your readers because that's what it comes down to. You're asking them to trust you that you are a very good writer, author, and you know what you're doing. So you have to have a really nice polished website and you have to have a platform on social media to show your potential readers that you're serious about this, that it's not just a hobby, but that it really is a business and that you consider yourself a serious author, that you consider yourself a writer. So it requires a thick skin because you're going to get rejected and you have to hire a professional editor, and that costs money. And you also have to make sure you have a really nice website to offer your readers a place to go to learn more about you. So it's really about investing in yourself. So, yes, you have to write a book. This is true, but there's a little bit more about it that's involved.
Let's talk about the imposter syndrome, Miss Ruth. Self doubt is almost a universal experience for authors. What was your most effective strategy for quieting your inner critic and putting your work out into the world?
That is so true. Imposter syndrome is a big one. I have a lot of friends who are traditionally published authors, and we have this mindset that unless you have a contract with the publisher, you're not a real writer. I had to work hard to get over that. So, what I do is just keep writing. I have to make sure that even though my book may have been rejected by a publisher or an agent, I have to keep writing and believing in my story. And that's what I did. So even after one book gets rejected, I have three more that I'm publishing and I get readers and I get reviews. So that's one thing that I do to make sure that I quiet those voices in my head that say I'm not good enough. I
Mhm,
keep writing and I keep releasing book after book and I get those reviews, I get those readers who contact me and say this is a really good story, I'm sharing it with my friend or I gave the book to my sister. That's the kind of pat on the back that really keeps me going. Another thing is enter contests. That's what I did early on. I entered a
mhm,
few books into contests and ended up winning. And that's another pat on the back that makes you feel like you really are an accomplished author?
mhm. I did something great. Ah, that'd be awesome, Miss Ruth. Survival implies getting through something difficult beyond just hitting publish. What does surviving self-publishing mean to you? Is it a financial sustainability, reader connection, or simply preserving your sanity?
I'd say all of the above. Yes,
All of the above.
I write, yeah, I write to express myself, definitely. I have stories to tell, and I know that there are people out there who will enjoy them. So, as an artist, it's kind of like when I paint a picture or draw a picture, it's just me expressing myself. And lately, the last couple of years, I have been able to make money from it. So that's been really nice too. I feel more like a business person. This is a business now, so I take it very seriously. And for me, also, it's a chance to reach people and connect with people I maybe never would have. I don't go to a lot of conferences, but by podcasting and, I've met you, I've met other podcasters by doing this, and I do workshops. I meet a lot of readers at workshops. So it's a way for me as an introvert to get out of my comfort zone, and that causes me to grow. It causes me to challenge myself, and that leads to personal growth as well. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in doing hard things. Do things that challenge yourself, and putting a book out there for the world to read. Yeah, that's definitely challenging.
Yes, challenging indeed. So, Miss Ruth, authors are often told to write what you are passionate about. What does the passion alone translate to sales? How do you balance creative passion with market awareness without burning out?
That's a good point. I do know a lot of authors who started off writing their passion, and after 6 or 7 books, they want to try something new, but their publisher says, no, we want you to stay in this genre. And that starts to drain their creativity, and their passion to write kind of disappears. So, the one thing about us self published authors is we have a little bit more freedom to try something new. So, I started with fantasy, and I did fantasy novels for a long time and decided to try murder mysteries and suspense. And I found myself growing and improving as a writer by doing that and reaching different readers. That was fun. And when they would find out that I also write fantasy, that was exciting for them. And so I really feel like you shouldn't box yourself in, or yes, you can get burned out rather easily. You have to also think about what's selling. That is true. But I've known too many authors who wrote just what's selling, just so they can make some money, and you can kind of read it in their writing that it's not really their passion. So I highly recommend that you write what you love about, but then also try stretching your writing muscles a little bit and try a different genre to keep challenging yourself and to keep growing as an author.
If an aspiring author come to you with a finished manuscript, what is the absolute first thing they must done before thinking about covers on Amazon?
Yeah, hire a professional editor. I know so many authors who don't want to do that. They think,
Mhm.
oh, I'll just use Grammarly or I'll use ChatGPT, but they're missing out on the human connection with working with a live, human being who, when you put your work into ChatGPT, it says, "Hey, that's great. That's wonderful. Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that?" And that's not giving you the feedback that you need. When you work with a human being, that person is saying, I like this part, but you need to change this, or I don't understand what you meant by this, or your plot is kind of flat here. That's the kind of feedback that you need. So hire a professional editor. It costs some money. This is true, but you're getting that second pair of eyes who will tell you your mistakes, but also where you're doing really well and where it lacks that human connection. The next thing is do some reading about the publishing industry, what's going on out there with KDP, the changes that were made recently, and how they are looking for AI books. So try not to use AI as a crutch, but
Hmm.
try to use it just as
Hmm.
a writing tool because KDP and some of the other platforms are catching on, and you don't want to be flagged as an author who uses AI. So I recommend just using it as a tool to help you brainstorm, to help you, polish up some scenes, but don't ask it to write your book for you. So self-publishing is difficult. Yeah, you have to once you finish that manuscript, it seems like everything's going to be really easy after that. No, it's pretty challenging, but it's
Hmm.
so worth it in the
Hmm.
end. It's so worth it in the end.
We often hear build an audience before you launch. For someone starting from zero, what is a low cost, high impact method you recommend for building a genuine readership before day one, Miss Ruth?
Yeah, that is a challenge, I have to admit. When you enter contests, that can help. When you can put on your social media that your story won a contest, that causes readers to be more interested in you. Also, have a newsletter. I know that's challenging when you don't have a book, but you can do short stories, you can do shorter like novellas and offer those as a reader magnet for your newsletter. And you can also start to connect with people who will be your future readers, people who read the genres that you love and the genre that you're going to write. So try out BookFunnel. BookFunnel is really inexpensive and it's a great way to offer those reader magnets and to get those newsletter subscribers, which is huge. I know email sounds all, archaic and very old, but it's still the best way to connect with readers. And build your brand on social media, whether it's X or TikTok or Instagram. Have a brand so people, when they see your post, they know immediately who you are and they start to learn a little bit more about you. So when you do release your book, they are really looking forward to reading it. So it takes some time. I hired a virtual assistant. It cost me a little bit of money, but for the last 2 years, she's really helped me grow my platform. So that's another avenue you can try. They have different packages for what you can afford and what you need from them to help build your audience. So yeah, starting from ground zero, that is a challenge. You have to work hard to get those readers to trust you enough to purchase your book. But it's worth the work and effort that you have to put into it to building your brand.
Many authors focus on the cover and the blurb but ignore keywords and categories. How can author use meta or metadata strategically to get their book in front of the right readers from the very beginning?
This is where I've learned that ChatGPT is very helpful. So try your AI tools for this and just ask them, let them know this is the genre that you're writing. This is the book that you're going to put out there. And just ask them what might be the keywords that I could use in Amazon that will help get readers, to notice my book. So you can try that. I've done that before and it's worked really well. You can ask for help with a virtual assistant who might understand search engines a little bit more in the Amazon platform. They can give you some ideas on how to use those keywords and key phrases. A lot of people think you just use one word, but you can actually use key phrases. I've done that before where you put in cozy murder mystery at Christmas, things like that. Very
Yeah.
helpful. Very helpful. Yeah.
A lot of marketing advice feels like shouting into a void. What is effective marketing strategy for an author who's deeply uncomfortable with hard sell or social media format for the formativity?
Yeah, that is a tough one because we tend to be introverts. Try doing a giveaway. Book giveaways are really helpful and they get, noticed by a lot of readers out there who are looking for free books. You can try that. Book Funnel is another great way. They have author books that you can give out. They're called ARC, Advanced Reader Copies of your book. And you can reach out to people and just ask them, hey, will you read my book before it goes out into the world and just let me know what works, what doesn't work? And if you like it, can you post, a review on Goodreads or something like that? So it requires stepping out of your comfort zone. I know you can try Book Sweeps and BookBub. They do that as well. So if you have your very first book and it's ready to go, you can use BookFunnel to reach those ARC readers to get those first thoughts, beta readers, things like that. Like I said, it means getting out of your comfort zone. I know I had to do it and it was really difficult, but it works.
Yes, it works. People, try it before you complain. How important are early reviews for the algorithm, Miss Ruth? Is what as are ethical, effective ways to get those crucial first 20 or 10 20 reviews without breaking the rules of your spirit?
It's been hard for me because my readers tend to be in their 50s and they don't use a lot of technology. So my last Christmas novella was a bestseller, but if you look on Amazon, I only have a few reviews because my readers don't go automatically and write a review. So it's very frustrating. However, I have learned that Amazon ads or Facebook ads really help. It costs a little bit of money, but you can adjust by what budget you have. I've done that for my last two Christmas books, and they have become bestsellers. So that's one way to do it. You can ask if you release an ebook. A lot of authors do this. If you release your ebook, at the very end, you can put a paragraph at the very end of your ebook and ask your readers to leave a review. So many authors do this, and it really does work because they like your book so much. You can say, "Hey, did you like this book? If so, go to Amazon and leave me a review." So there's that. It works for a lot of authors. Those are ethical ways to do it. And also, just sending out in your newsletter that your book came out and reviews really help. So please leave a review if you liked my book. I've done that before too, and that helps.
Mhm. Yes, definitely. Marketing is the hardest thing to do, people. You will take effort to do it. So, what one tool, habit, or system provided the biggest return on your time investment, allowing you to be more productive as a writer and as a publisher? So, I think Miss Ruth is disconnected. So I want to apologize, people. Miss Ruth is being disconnected. So while we're waiting for her, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in third season, and my food 101 in sixth season as well, geography 101, love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 our fourth season, and science 101 and sex 101 in its third season, and my baby podcast, Mental Health 101, Law 101, Bible Verses 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and Motivation 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Miss Ruth, I think did not come back yet. So please do support Miss Ruth. Uh, Her books are available where books are sold. So just Google it, Ruth Douthitt. So let's see if Miss Ruth. Okay, Miss Ruth is here. Here we go. Okay, Miss Ruth, sorry for that disconnection. So, can you please invite our listeners to support all your books or your advocacy or whatever projects that you're doing right now? I cannot hear you, Miss Ruth. Is something wrong with our connection?
Yeah, I think so. Can you
Yes,
hear
I
me
can
now?
hear you now. Yes, I
Okay.
can hear you now.
Thanks for your patience. I don't know what's happening, the connection, but
No worries. No worries. So, can you please
yes, you
invite
can
our
head over.
listeners? Again, my apologies, people. Our connection is not that good. So while I'm waiting for Miss Ruth, yes, people, let's support Miss Ruth because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering books will rise. So, Motica people, see you soon.